For another weekly outlook. So today is Monday, the 3rd of October. So let's break down the news for this week before we jump into what we're looking for in the market. So coming into this week, there's a lot of news out, but there's only really a few we need to be aware of. So today being Monday, we do have AUD RBA interest rate releasing during the Asian session. All right. Then on Tuesday, we have some Euro, some USD news, and then some Australian news. Again, nothing really crazy there. Wednesday, a lot of Euro news and USD news in particular. None of this is really anything we need to be worried about that should bring any sort of spikes in volatility or movement. So we don't need to worry about any of that. Thursday, a lot of Euro and USD news, some jobs news. Again, nothing really crazy. And then Friday, a lot of Euro news, some CAD news. But then the big one is this USD news. We do have non-farm payroll, which is NFP, this Friday. So that always releases every first Friday of each new month. So again, non-farm payroll is kind of hit or miss. Sometimes it can bring a lot of movement. Other times it doesn't really do much. So just be aware of it, okay? And make sure you have your stop losses in and you use proper risk management. And just if you do see any wicking or any odd movement, then understand why that's occurring, all right? And that's pretty much it. So not really much else need to be aware of. Really just the NFP on Friday and then the interest rate decision that's releasing later today. Now, there's a few pairs I want to go over. So obviously in the last 2 weeks, you've seen some crazy moves on a lot of pairs. Kind of messy price action on a lot of pairs as well. Obviously, a lot's going on in the world. In world events and with the whole Russia-Ukraine thing, and then a lot of world economies aren't exactly doing too well. So that's obviously going to be reflected on the markets, on the charts. So a bit of messy price action, but like I always explain here and then to the mentorship students, is trading. It's give and take with the market. You're going to have really good days. You're going to have really good weeks. Then you're going to have weeks where there's just not much. Maybe you're just waiting and waiting and waiting. Maybe even have a few losses. Losses are normal. Sometimes there's no trading days, sometimes there's no trading weeks, but what always matters is that by the end of the month, you always end up with a good amount of profit, right? That's how I view it. I'm predominantly a swing trader, so I might only take 1 or 2 trades a week, maybe 5 to 10 positions a month, but those positions will do 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 800, 1,000 pips, 1 to 15 RRs, 1 to 20, 1 to 30s. I aim for really high risk reward positions. So I'm okay to wait a few days or even a week or two before I get a position, because I know that I'll end up doing a significant amount of profit in the market. So again, guys, remember, it's give and take with the market. You're going to have good times, you're going to have bad times. So, not every day is a trading day, all right? So flow with the market and let price come to you. Now, there's a few pairs I want to look at. So right now, obviously, we're seeing a pretty big pullback on the dollar, all right? Very, very, very bullish overall, but what goes up must come down. In order for this to continue higher, it has to come down first. Again, in order to make a bullish trend, you have to have your higher highs and your higher lows for the most part, right? So still very, very bullish on this. Right now, we are sort of having this pullback on the dollar. I don't want to talk about that too much because the dollar is somewhat messy. I'm just paying attention to around this area here, around 113. But right now, a few pairs I want to look at. AUD USD. All right, so I'm actually monitoring for possible sells from this 0.65 sort of 200 region here. If price can push up into here, give me some really nice price action on maybe the 30-minute, the 1 hour, or the 2 hour, maybe print some patterns. We could see a really nice sell back down into here, or even lower, okay? This pair is overall very, very bearish. Again, the dollar is very, very bullish, but right now the dollar is having that pullback. So therefore, we're seeing a bit of a pullback on a lot of USD pairs. So what we're sort of looking for is a push up into here, and then from there, a continuation lower. I sell from around this region here, would provide a nice little, it'd be a nice little 1 to 3 to here, a nice little 1 to 5.5 until here. And then if we go and make new lows, you're looking at a 1 to 10 easily. Otherwise, you could be in a position to possibly hedge this. If price does push down, give you a sell, and then, maybe breaks higher, you could be in a position to hedge it from either this level or this level. Now, of course, you guys know I like to look at, I never get married to a bias. I like to look at both sides of the market. What we could see is, price break this level and then do something like this. And give buys for, if we have a deeper pullback on the dollar, then we'll see something like this. So keep an eye out for that. USD Swiss. All right, right now I'm looking for possible sells from this level. It just depends on what price does to the dollar, right? A few things could happen here. There's really 3 scenarios. Scenario 1 is price pushes up into here. We get some nice, again, 30-minute, hourly, 2-hour rejection. Something like this on the 1 hour would be perfect. We could look for a nice sell. Otherwise, if price was to pull back from here, what we could see is a pullback in a 94, 0.98500 for a possible continuation higher, which is more in line with a bullish move on the dollar, right? So watching for one of those scenarios there. Either way, for now, more price action needed. I'll post in the public Discord as these setups begin to line up more. AUD USD, very, very interested in this pair. We're doing a break and retest of 1.50500. Really clean patterns begin to form here. So what I'm looking for here is really something like this in like the 1 hour. That would be freaking perfect for a possible buy setup. If this can come back down, give some really nice bullish price action, a buy from around this level here. Again, this is just an example, of course. Right back up into 1.53, sort of 500 region. That's a nice little 1 to 9. Easy money. Easy. So watching for something like that. Now, of course, let's look at both sides. If price was to fail to stay above this level and not give the price action we want, we could see something like this for a sell down into here, and then maybe even this, or let's say it respects price. We could see something like this, right? So break, retest, and then boom from there. So again, watching for buys from here. I believe this will play out. This also gives confluence to AUD USD because they generally move in opposite directions based on correlation. Not always, but generally. So, a move higher from here gives confluence to a move lower on AUD USD from here. All right. Next pair, EU, kind of a mess. I'm honestly not really much I want to cover there. So I'm just going to cover those. Oh, one more pair is Euro JPY. All right, let's go here to the daily. So this pair is still very, very bullish. We have to keep in mind, I know we've had a really big move down on JPY pairs, but EJ is still very, very bullish overall, right? So right now, this could just be it printing a new sort of, higher high, higher low scenario. I don't really follow market structure too much. You don't need to because it's not exactly as accurate as a lot of people tell you. I mean, by looking at this, I could point out, like, look at this higher high, lower low, but then it went up. Like, it's not always perfect, right? A lot of traders would be like, oh, it's made a new lower low, but now it's bearish. That's not how the market works, right? As long as you can look at this and be like, it's obviously bullish, right? That's what you want to be paying attention to. But again, I don't even spend too much time on the higher time frames. I spend most of my time on the 4 hour and like the 2 hour, really. With EJ, guys, what I would be looking for is something like this. All right, so go to the 2 hour here. Something like this for a possible buy setup into here, into 143. And then if we can break 143, we'll likely see 144. And then from there, possibly 145. So, a buy position from around this level here. Again, something sort of like this. In the 143 is, a little 3.5. Nice little trade there, 150 pips, 130 pips. Move up in the 144 is 250 pips approximately, 225 pips, a 1 to 6. And then boom, higher up for about a 400 pip move for 1 to 10, give or take, right? So some nice setups to watch for there. Now, of course, let's flip to the other bias or other outlook on this pair. If it doesn't respect this level and ends up breaking lower below 141.5, 141.8 region, you could look for something like this, which again gives a nice little setup. Something like that, a nice little 1 to 5, 1 to 6, give or take, right? So depending on what price action does, you could see some really nice setups on these pairs. All right, like I said, EU, I'm not really a fan of right now. I'm just kind of leaving that pair alone. It's been kind of messy. Again, the dollar's been kind of messy as well. But right now in the mentorship program, we're holding a position here. We're holding a position for CAD JPY, currently around 400, a little bit higher than that now, 365 pips. We reached around 520 upon taking more profit all through this region, and now we're looking for something further on this pair. So really nice setups lining up for us. Hopefully we see some good movement this week and begin to see some clearer market conditions. But like I always say, guys, I know I get a lot of messages, so I want to make sure I talked about this. I get a lot of messages from you guys, like how do you deal with losses and how do you learn to be patient? The biggest for that second question, how do you learn to be patient? You become patient when you understand what your trading strategy is, because then you understand what you're looking for, and then you simply wait for it. I believe impatience, obviously putting emotions aside, impatience really comes from a lack of understanding what you're looking for in the market, which comes from a lack of understanding your trading plan and strategy. If you understand your trading plan and your strategy, you should know exactly what you're looking for. You mark it up and you wait for it, and therefore you're patient, right? If it doesn't play out, you then wait for more price action, and then it'll play out eventually, right? You always know what you're looking for. So For those of you who always ask me like, hey, can you talk about how to become more patient, have more of a try and focus more on your learning rather than a lot of traders just try and jump straight into live trading. Guys, focus on your learning. That was a huge thing for me. I focused on my learning for years, all right, because the skill set's what's most important. Once you get the skill set is when you can begin to apply it, and you can then begin to make money. So figure out what your trading plan is. Learn from someone. It doesn't have to be me. Learn from someone that you like their trading style. They're legitimate and they're going to help you. And put your focus on learning and skill set, guys. The rest just comes with time and experience. It's a slow journey, but it's very, very much worth it. That's it for now, guys. I'll update in the public Discord as our setups begin to line up. Otherwise, I'll update again throughout the week with another midweek market update. Thanks, guys.